Howdy ho there, folks. This is James with the Back Nine Live coming to you with another episode of my weekly podcast, Teed Off, where I delve into the who, what, when, where, and how of the news stories of the week, at least the ones that I find important. As always, there will be no fluff, no filter, and no political affiliations going on here. I will tear apart both sides of the aisle if we happen to have political news, which this week we don't have any Trump. Nope, Trump will be mentioned one time very briefly, but it was kind of a slow news week, it seems, but I do have 5 stories that I'm going to get into right now. They will range from school shootings to employee raises, and yes, I will get into the Taylor Swift stuff, but you're going to have to wait till the end. You'll have to wait for that to be the 5th one I do today, so all you Swiftie fans of my podcast, just going to have to stick around, sorry. Tommy Fleetwood's wife absent for $10 million breakthrough win after age difference paranoia. If you don't know who Tommy Fleetwood is, he's a pro golfer. He won the Tour Championship last week, and it was his first ever win on tour. So he won the FedEx Cup, which is the season-long scoring system for who was the best golfer of the year. But he wasn't the best golfer of the year. Scotty Scheffler was, but that's just the way they do it. They have a big playoff system to get to the end, and then whoever wins the very last one, they call them the FedEx Cup champion, which that's what he is. But they'll change it again next year. They like to change it a lot. That's what the PGA Tour does. They can't figure out how to actually pick a champion like most other sports do. So he won, and he won $10 million for that. His wife was not there, and this article sort of made a little stink about it, trying to create a little drama, whatnot. Welcome, Tommy Fleetwood, to what they do to winners whenever you get to it. The American press will start to try to tear into you a little bit. She wasn't there, so it was a $10 million win, but I guess he still couldn't afford a +1 for the champions dinner. Golf's getting expensive. Golf's getting very expensive to go. I think it's like $16, $17 for a beer at a tournament now. It's getting ridiculous. These guys are making a lot of money, though. They definitely are, and the PGA Tour has to do it because the Live Golf guys went away and they got paid so much money, and these PGA Tour guys, they were like, we want that money. But she wasn't there, not because they're having marital problems or anything like that. She's actually 23 years older than him, I think, and she has said in past interviews that she is aware in social settings of the age difference and that they do kind of get looked at funny and stuff like that sometimes. But hey, they love each other very much. She's actually his financial manager, so she works for him. He can't get rid of her. She's the one that's holding all the money. And so he's not going to have a problem with it, and she's not going to have a problem with it because if he stops making money, then she has a problem. So they're tied in. They're probably not going to be looking at my divorce podcast and saying, I think I want to do that. This reporter tried to make a little bit of a stink about this, but I guess it's fun little fodder. But Tommy Fleetwood and his wife, they are very much in love, I believe. Tommy Fleetwood, from all I've heard, is a really good guy anyway. 23 years older. What do they talk about? Well, you're a whole generation off. I guess I talk to my parents, which are 23 years older than me, but most of the time I'm just listening to the same stories over and over and again from them because they can't remember that they told me on one time or another. But they're also a lot older than this lady is. She's about my age, actually. Actually, she's a little older, I think. But that's another thing, too. Maybe they ought to check and see if this lady had a teaching background in her past. She might have been robbing the cradle back then. Have you seen these news stories that have come out in the last couple of years of these beautiful, gorgeous, hot teachers sleeping with their male students? I never had teachers like that. Are you kidding me? Boy, they're smoking hot. How could you put that in front of a teenage boy and expect that he wouldn't try to go after that? Sleeping with kids is not a cool thing. Don't get me wrong. I'm just making jokes, okay? Just a little joke. These teachers, though, That'd be bragging rights for most teenage kids, not trying to throw them in jail. But anyway, golf teaches patience. Marriage teaches paranoia. That's what I got from most of this article. So, all right, moving on. What do we want to do next? Okay, let's do Taylor Sheridan. I know, I said Taylor, and you guys thought I was going to Taylor Swift, but no, Taylor Sheridan. He seemed to have a series renewed for its second season before season 1 even airs. Go figure. It's called The Madison. It stars Michelle Pfeiffer, and it's about a New York family that goes to Montana and plays like the Duttons, I guess, from Yellowstone. Lioness also got picked up for season 3. This guy, everything this guy touches turns to gold. I think he could just walk down La Cienega Boulevard and he's flexing, just ripped it. He's like, look at me, I'm Taylor Sheridan. I got 14 million shows airing on Paramount right now. There's a spinoff of Yellowstone. Actually, there's 2. Casey's going to have a spinoff on CBS, and then Beth and Rip have a spinoff that's actually shooting down in Texas right now. And then I also heard, and it's listed actually on IMDb, that they're going to have a 4 Sixes spinoff too, which I would really love that, because Jimmy was my favorite character by far on Yellowstone, and Teeter was one colorful character too. So it'd be Jimmy, Teeter, and Travis, which is played by Taylor Sheridan at the 4 Sixes. I'm sure they'll cross over with the Beth, and I think it's called the Dutton Ranch working title. But this guy has monster. I mean, this guy's pen signs faster than cameras roll. I think it's great too that Hollywood's surefire bet is finally a cowboy again. I mean, you know, it's been a long time since John Wayne. Is that you, John Wayne? Or Clint Eastwood. Yeah, what are you looking at, punk? So it's been a long time since we had the Cowboys controlling Hollywood, but he has definitely got a hold of it now. One executive called him a singular genius with a perfect track record. The guy hasn't missed. I mean, I think he was Tulsa King, right? He was the mayor of Kingstown, Lioness, Yellowstone. He wrote movies before that. He wrote Sicario, which is a wonderful, wonderful script, wonderful movie. Man, it's one of my favorite contemporary movies by far. But yeah, this guy's just strutting around Hollywood, probably going to ride his horse to the Emmys this year. It wouldn't surprise me. He'd go on stage on his horse. He'd do whatever he wanted. He'd lasso, just lasso whatever actor he wants. That's what he's probably doing. He got Michelle Pfeiffer for this one. I think Annette Bening's going to be. He just goes around Hollywood and he's got his rope and he's just. Who do I want? Tom Cruise, you now. I want you to put you, but you only get a small part. Tom would be thankful because he'd be like, hey, yeah, absolutely. I'll do 5 words for you in your TV series. I was in 1883 as well. Tim McGraw, whenever he was on the Civil War battlefield, Tom Hanks made a cameo appearance and had, I think, 2 lines. That's the power of Taylor Sheridan these days. It's no longer Steven Spielberg. It's no longer any of those old guys. This is Taylor Sheridan, who's just running around Texas. And actually, he bought the 4 Sixes ranch, so he probably owns about half of Texas now. The guy's just good, and I hear that he's kind of demanding and difficult to work with and things like that. But whenever you're a winner, nobody was saying no to going to Chicago to play with Michael Jordan. You know what I mean? Good for Taylor Sheridan. Good for that. I love these things, so I hope he just keeps pumping them out. Eventually, he might run out of things to say, or a different fad will come along. But as of right now, Taylor Sheridan is killing it in Hollywood. Employees becoming increasingly frustrated with raises. Yeah, of course. Wages are up 2% and rent is up 20%. Do the math. Merit-based raises average 3.2%. Most companies will do a standard cost of living adjustment raise, which they usually will put at like 2%. And then the average merit-based raise would be like 3.2%. So you'd actually be getting a 5.2% raise. Supposedly that's keeping way above inflation right now, but you and I both go to the store, we see prices, we see what our paychecks, we can do basic math. The inflation numbers they are lying. They're lying. You're liars. Inflation is hot. It's hot. We can feel it. We know it. We're not in 2020, 2021, where you could just swap jobs and get a much higher wage. And so therefore your employer had to kick up big raises out to you every year, which we did. For a couple of years, we were getting bigger and bigger raises. I was working in the trades at the time. I was working for myself though. And my raise that I gave myself was from basically about $30 an hour to $150 an hour. And people were paying me that. So I definitely jacked my rate up a lot. I was actually flipping some houses though, so I didn't get to do as much work for other people as I wanted. But if they wanted me to come, during COVID, hey, I wasn't wearing a mask and you're paying me $150 an hour. You want to sit and chat a little while? Hey, on your time. And they gladly were paying it. Because like I said, everybody refinanced. Everybody had a ton of cash. They were spending it like it's no tomorrow. They were in the strip club just going with hundreds out to plumbers and electricians and roofers, all of us, any of us that would still go to work. That time is over. We had the big party and now it's time to clean up the mess a little bit. So the lights came on in the bar and guess what? It was not good looking. There was grungy, nasty stuff. Looked like a college bar, which I remember. I went to a college bar. The boy who was going to college and went to a college bar, and that was my first thing that I remembered. I mean, I of course spent a lot of times in bars whenever I was a kid. I was sitting there, and the only thing running through my mind is like, these kids are filthy. But of course, that has nothing to do with raises. Trying to hard-nose your boss now probably won't work because we got one big problem now is a lot of people with just the AI we have today definitely can be replaced in a heartbeat. I was talking to a lawyer at a fantasy football draft last week, and he was saying, hey, I've had my paralegal assistant that does certain things for him in his practice. And he said, I can't fire her, but as soon as she retires, he's like, I'm paying $70 for a AI app that can do it much faster than her, much cleaner, much more efficient. And I only got to pay $70 a year. I was like, well, you probably ought to do that anyway. He's like, but I can't fire her because, he's a good guy even for a lawyer. Simply saying, if you try to walk out on your kind of job or you start to demand too much now, hey, it's a different time. Sorry. The heyday of the vid is over. It's time to go back to work and to make money that is not exorbitant and given. But don't worry, we'll have a recession at some point. The Fed will inject a whole lot more money into the system again, and we'll have another big party somewhere down the road. But for now, sorry, the raises are what they are. All right, one that I probably, I'll do it just because it's on here, but I'm not really going to try to be too funny about it. A chilling text message warning of an active shooter sent Villanova University students scrambling. It turns out it was a hoax, but it did send them scrambling, Smartphones now are just sirens for fear. I said I wasn't going to be too funny about this sort of subject, but I did have one joke. At least the texts came faster than the financial aid refund. So this turned out to be a hoax. It was not real, but then 2 days later, we had a really bad shooting. I think like 14 kids or something got killed, and that's awful. It's awful. But every time we get these things going on, there's always the same argument, and it's an argument that it's never going to be solved, and that is we got to get rid of guns. The point blank, no pun intended, fact is you will never get rid of guns. It's like trying to get rid of drugs. If people want to do drugs, if people want to have guns, they're going to have guns. And there are a lot of people, whole states full of people, Texas, that they are serious whenever they say you can pry it out of my cold dead hands. You're not taking those guys' guns. You're not taking their AR-15s. You're not taking their shotguns. You're not taking their pistols. You're not taking anything from them. Texas, they're serious. I mean, California, they can come try to do something to Texas, but Texas is going to win that fight. Texas is pretty bad. I mean, if you're bad whenever you can elect knowingly a governor in a wheelchair. You're just saying, I don't give a damn. I don't give a damn what you guys do. You ain't coming down here getting my gun from me. You ain't taking no gun from me. I'll jump my pickup truck. And that's another thing down there in Texas. The size of their trucks, they're right. Everything is bigger in Texas, and they all have those big Tex trailers too. I mean, these guys got a ton of money down there. They're driving around these $100,000 trucks, dragging a $100,000 trailer. Oh, it's something else. But yeah, you won't get guns from them. School shootings, they're bad. They are bad. But the problem is mental health. It is not guns. The guns are not the problem. It is the people holding the guns. Guns are just a tool. People are the ones that kill people. Guns don't do it. So you get into that. Get into addressing that, because no way in this country will you ever take all the guns away from people. It's not going to happen. And it shouldn't happen, because quite honestly, we have probably never had an actual land invasion besides like the War of 1812, where an army decided to come in, and they won't do it because it would be so hard to go door to door, because we have the biggest, not only the biggest, well, we don't have the biggest military as far as personnel, but we have the best military by far, but we also have the biggest militia in the world, which is all homeowners who have guns. And any other country, any other army would know this, and it would be so hard to just go town to town and try to fight these guerrilla warfare fighters, which is what we would become. Taking away guns is not the answer. School shootings, though, I don't like seeing them. They're awful, awful things, and I wish kids would just get in fist fights more. The video games, the things like that, I mean, I can't blame anything. It's the person, it's the way they're raised. But they grew up very much desensitized to violence. He said that was a parenting issue. It's a parenting issue by far. Took the boy out, my stepson out shooting many times, and made him realize the power of a weapon in your hand and how to be safe and how to do that. But I also told him that, you never point this thing at anybody unless you plan to kill them. And if you're going to kill somebody out of hate, you do not get a gun. You're killing somebody out of self-preservation protection. All right. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom. Taylor Swift. That's right, you Swifties. It's here now. Taylor Swift announces engagement to NFL star. Yeah. Oh, super. Now we're going to get the Ever After tour. She'll make another $1 billion. Well, I did delve into it a little bit. Kelsey co-designed the ring that he gave her. The value of it was anywhere between, what was this, $125,000 and $5 million. First of all, Taylor Swift's a billionaire. Is she going to be impressed with a $5 million ring? She definitely wouldn't be impressed with a $125,000 ring. She couldn't be. I mean, she's a billionaire. You got to go bigger than that, Travis. Come on. And what is that? How do you place a value on something like $125K to $5 million? That's like me come and say, hey, appraise my house. And I'll be like, well, it's anywhere between $10,000 and $200,000. What? Why? Who's the appraiser that appraised this ring? I mean, this guy shouldn't have a job. I mean, what is that? That's a $475 million or $4,750,000 difference. No, my math's way off. Anyway, you get my point. I can do the math. Okay, 5 million minus 125,000 is 4,875,000. Yeah, we got it. But I guess he's a ring stylist now. And if you saw his garden that he proposed into, it was at his Missouri home. This guy, is he a botanist too? I know he's probably got people taking care of it for him, because he is actually a pretty wealthy guy himself. Not only from football, I think him and his brother have one of the most popular podcasts on the planet as well. But man, that was a nice garden. That would look like the Getty Center. This guy's got a green thumb. If he's out there taking care of that, she probably should snag a hold of him. I mean, the guy can design rings. He can catch end zone passes, and he's a botanist. Who knew that somebody in Kansas City could do all that? But obviously, Travis Kelce can, and he snagged himself a billionaire pop star to prove it. Am I the only one, though, that is seeing the 3,000-pound elephant in the room? And no, I'm not talking about the Chiefs' offensive line standing in the corner. I'm talking about a figurative 3,000-pound elephant. I mean, okay, picture this and give me a little rope. We're going to go a little bit around and into a circle here, and it will all make sense in the end, I promise you. So think about it. These guys have been going out for a while. She's been to a lot of games, and she's going to go to a lot more now. And the NFL knows this. And you know that they had a little meeting with the commissioner and all the owners, and they got together and they were smoking cigars because they're all billionaires and they're mostly white guys. And they're just doing their thing, talking about NFL ownership and how great they are and how they have the biggest stadiums in the room. So these guys are all talking, though, and they're like, hey, we are kind of losing audience share of, we tried these things with football. We tried going over to London and, we tried to get people, but that Colin Kaepernick, he just knelt down and gave us a bad name for so long. And so we need to make more money. We need to start making more money. How do we do it? And one owner was just sitting over there in the corner and be like, wait, hold up one second. And he's probably the scummiest lawyer or the scummiest owner. Did I say lawyer before? The scummiest owner of a team, which I don't know who that would be. My guess would be all of them. But he's in the corner and he's like, you know what? That Travis out there in Kansas City, that tight end, Travis, what's his name? Oh, we don't know. We don't know our players. We just pay them a lot of money and we make even more money. Well, Travis over there in Kansas City, he's seen this singer lady. Maybe we ought to try to cross industry stuff with her. She's come into a lot of games. We had cameras cut away to her, and all of a sudden ratings spiked as this happened. So we should use her in some way. How can we do it? And then another owner's over there. We can give her a halftime show. And then the commissioner's like, well, we can't see any more titties. Janet Jackson ruined that. No more titties. I don't want titties. These pop stars like to show titties. So that's the commissioner. All the owners are like, we like that. Well, that's a great idea. Let's show some titties. Janet Jackson, we loved her. Get Justin Timberlake back out there to have wardrobe malfunctions all over the 50-yard line. The guy that came up with it, though, he's like, no. And like I said, give me some rope. Give me some rope. I'm trying to bring this story around, and I'm doing it all off the cuff. So you might get a lot of cuts in here. I'll tighten it up. But anyway, the other owner, though, he's like, no. What we can do is market to her fans, the 11-year-old girls. They want to watch NFL football. So we will do a whole football season where we'll just put her in stands all over the place. She'll do it. She's got to love to do it. We'll tell Travis that, he has to tell her to do it. And so they thought this was a great idea. They're like, oh my gosh. And that's why you see so many cutaways to Taylor Swift whenever she's at the games. They were like, it's a great idea. But that's not what the point is. That's not the big elephant in the room I'm talking about. You got to figure that there probably will be an actual Ever After tour. I probably wasn't joking about that. She had that big Eras tour that made her a billionaire. She'll have an Ever After tour that'll make her a multi-billionaire. So she'll go on this tour, and the NFL will say, hey, we need to have Travis bring a bunch of players to these tours too, and they'd be out there dancing and stuff like that. And so that way the 14-year-old or 11 to 14-year-old girl market, we can just dominate it. So what they'll end up doing is they will be sending these testosterone, steroided up guys that think they're entitled to everything because they have multi-million-dollar contracts. Most of them are probably woman beaters as well, just because that's what football players do. We call it the National Felony League for a reason. So all these guys will be at your Taylor Swift concerts, shaking it up, shaking it off with your 11-year-old daughter. Am I the only one that sees that this is a disaster waiting to happen? I mean, you really want your daughter out there twerking with the Antonio Browns of the world? I mean, we'll bring a whole football team to these things and they'll just be going. It's just a bad recipe. It is a bad recipe. It's like putting yogurt and hamburger together. It's going to happen too. Mark my words, it'll happen. But as for these guys, they do actually seem genuinely in love. We're happy for them. And Taylor Swift doesn't seem like Madonna, she married Dennis Rodman, didn't she? I believe she did. And he definitely doesn't seem like Dennis Rodman. Taylor Swift doesn't appear to be a Britney Spears that just goes off the friggin' rails and starts showing her coochie to paparazzi all over the world. So I think they might just be actually in love, and they both seem to be down home kind of people. Actually, do you think he was corny enough? Do you think he was corny enough during his proposal, whenever he got down on the knee, to actually say, "It's a love story, baby. Just say yes"? It'd be great if he did. Actually, that's some corny stuff that would probably have melted her heart right there. I'll give a little tribute. Yeah, a little tribute. He's the Romeo, she's the Juliet. How did their song go? Right? Throw in petals. My daddy said, "Stay away from Juliet." You can sing it with me. I was something and begging you, please don't go. I don't know the words. It's a love story, baby. Just say yes. Okay, we're getting a text here. Taylor Swift, Travis Kelce, congratulations. She actually told it. She actually announced it while Trump was in a cabinet meeting. And a reporter asked Trump what he thought about the engagement in the cabinet meeting, because that is important to national security and also the running of our government. I'm glad those political reporters asked those sort of questions. But Trump said he wished them the best, that he was a great guy and wished them all the best in the world. So they got the Trump approval, which is standard these days, it seems. The guy's trying to be a dictator. That means he needs to give his stamp of approval over everything. And no, I'm not being a political affiliation. I'm just stating simply that if he was allowed, come on, if we just said, "Hey, Donald, why don't you just be our dictator?" He'd just be like, oh, of course. I wish I could do a Donald Trump impersonation, but I can't. All right, that's it. It was a good one this week. Actually, I flew through that. I tried to do it this morning, and man, I had such low energy because I ran out of coffee, and I didn't have coffee in me. And I did pretty much this whole podcast, and it was just horrific. Thanks. I really appreciate all the support that I've been getting from my subscribers, from people that are just viewing it, and I hope that we can keep growing, and we can do that by hitting subscribe, leaving a comment, hitting that little thumbs up, sharing with somebody else, or you can just stick around and watch this video, which is another Teed Off podcast, and that logo, you can just punch it right there on your phone and you'll be subscribed. Anyway, take care, guys.